approve the, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th Board of Finance meeting.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Chairman's comments, I will forego them. Finance members' comments.
I just have one comment. I understand that we're thinking of canceling the August meeting, which is not unusual. August is sort of a meeting for, and it depends, I'm not aware of anything coming up, but it might be a good idea to actually leave it on the books for a while, because if you cancel it and then it turns out we need something, then you got to call a special, it's called a rigmarole.
I
So,
think we already canceled it.
oh, you already canceled?
We have to rescind, yeah, you know.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because if you don't do it within 30 days, you know, then it's a special, okay, you don't know about that, okay. Forget it.
Sorry.
Chair last month, I think, she started.
Thank you.
That's good.
All right. Any citizens' comments? Who's doing the meeting online? Danielle? Yep. Danielle, any citizen comments?
I don't see anyone with their hand up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
First, we need to discuss and take action to accept a grant in the amount up to $12,000 from Workforce Alliance, providing funding for MYFS Summer Youth Employment Program.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
good. Discussion. So we do, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I do have a question as I look at the jobs, half of them are out of town, Guilford, Brantford. So, I'm not supported, I'm not.
Right, it was really difficult this year to find, especially like delis and things like that, to find places for us to work in town. Guilford Yacht Club, actually, this is the second year that we've used them.
Mhm.
And it's just a different type of job that we don't offer here in Madison, so it worked out good. And then the community dining room, we actually don't have a student doing a job there this year. I didn't have enough students for that. So, but I do want to thank the establishments that are offering summer youth employment. So What's Cooking has done it for 5 years.
Mhm.
They've been wonderful. This year we're at the Town Campus Learning Center. And the student there is a teacher's aide, and then the Arts Barn helping out with the summer programs.
That's good. And I'm wondering if the job's down at the surf club, you know, because we hire a lot of teenagers at the surf club, would they be?
Well, I didn't ask this year because I didn't have enough students that were
Oh,
interested.
okay.
In the past, though, when I have asked, they've already had all their staff already lined up.
Okay.
So I don't know how soon before the summer starts that I need to ask them, but, so I have asked, but like I said, they've already had all their stuff already, all the staff already staffed.
I'm just thinking, get a grant to pay for it instead of coming up.
For sure.
Taxes.
I can reach out to Austin next year.
Have you met Austin?
Thank you. Okay.
But good, I agree though, keeping it in town, and we're not paying the wages the grant is, so.
Good. Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstention, motion carries. Thank you. Discuss and take action to approve accepting a grant in the amount of $5,000 from the Irwin C. Bauer Charitable Trust to be used for habitat exploration programs at Bauer Park, Rockland Preserve, and Salt Meadow Park.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
Sounds
All
good.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Taking money is easy. Discuss and take action to approve incorporating an admin assistant health coordinator position into the ARP funding schedule in the amount of $24,245.52.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
I just want to make sure, for the record, I had some concerns with this because I recall that we had early retirement program put in place, I lose track of time with COVID, but within the last couple of years. And I thought that going from 2 admins from 3 down to 2 was kind of a well thought out plan. So I just want to make sure how this reconciles with that.
Peggy, are you there?
Yep. So basically, we had one admin working with the land use department and then with the health department. With the kind of reorganization of land use and then the departure of our town planner, we felt it was critical to shift that admin to 100% to land use because of we just needed people in the department to continue administering and who knew the application process, knew all the permitting and everything. And because we have like a big gap in there right now. And in the meantime, our public health activities are going to continue to stay. We had another clinic today, vaccination clinic. That would have left our health department with no support at all. So that's why we're focusing on American Rescue Plan funds to continue to provide administrative support to all of Trent's initiatives. And there's just going to be an ongoing need. He supports the school districts with all the public health initiatives. So this is a position that I think we're requesting funding for 1 year. And we're going to have to sort out where we go. Anything beyond that, we would be looking to the budget cycle for that if we felt we had to have, a permanent position added. This was kind of a way to fill a gap that we needed. And it's a strong qualifier if you read the American Rescue Plan funding. I know, Justin, you spent some time going through some of the documents, but any kind of public health coordinating position, administrative support qualifies. And I know Trent's on here, so if you have specific questions to him.
Okay.
No, I just think remembering that the land use planner is obviously, the lack of one is a temporary situation, and hopefully the meat of COVID response is also a temporary situation. So long as this position is deemed temporary and funded by, solely by ARC, then that's fine. But I guess it remains to be seen what normal times, how normal will be, but that remains to be seen.
So if it goes beyond a year, it would go through the regular budget process.
Yeah, so this is not a permanent position. This is, as Justin said, this is because we have 2 unusual situations. The leaving the resignation of our planner and the extra workload for COVID. So both of those temporaries are while you're looking for it. So this is not a permanent situation. Okay.
Now, is this requiring a new hire, or is there somebody in place now just looking to continue in that role?
It's actually a Madison employee who had retired and then was brought in to fill this role temporarily, and so she would continue in that position.
Can you tell us who it is?
Val?
All right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's worked out really well. I think Trent can speak to that, but I think it's been a good fit, and no training. It's somebody who knows the town, and it's been good.
All in favor? We're good, Trent. We're good. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Wrap it up, Trent.
Sorry, Trent. Okay, discuss and take action to approve the American Rescue Plan Round 2 projects and service schedule. Total expenditures not to exceed $419,300.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
I did have one question.
Sure.
For Austin, since he's here. I'm looking at the sheet here, and it says under the Meals on Wheels, which is certainly a very valuable program for the town, and it's grown hugely.
Yes.
Over the last few years. Hasn't been that many years ago when we spent what, 30,000 or 30 or 40,000 a year or so, some number of that nature. In the description, it says this will fund years 1 to 3 of the increase. In another column, it says number of years 1. So is the $231,000 is that Does that cover 3 years worth?
It's splitting that money between 3 years.
Okay.
ARP money and the Marcus account money, using that to bridge the gap between 3 years, and then
Okay.
after that, the Marcus money will be, through with that, we have to come back to the town to have you approve funding.
Yeah, because the Marcus money is
Right.
unfortunate, because
Right.
when it first set up, we thought that would last us 20 years or something.
If we stayed with, 20 people getting Meals on Wheels every day, but it's up to around 80 every day now.
It's a need, though, it's a need.
Yeah, oh, very much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so it's about 75 or 80,000 a year coming out of this.
Yeah, we go 70, 77, 59, 25, and then the remaining portion comes out of Marcus until that's gone.
So are you just gonna keep using it until, or we kind of come off of it to save it, or?
Yep, so we'll, in year 2, so next year, I will go in front of you all and ask for money out of the budget to fund it, and then we'll start increasing that every year as we go forward until it's a fully funded town program.
Okay, any other questions on that? Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Thank you. Next, discuss and take action to enter into a 5-year lease agreement for $655,714 with an interest rate of 1.36 with the First American for the financing of the 2022 capital improvement program highway equipment leasing plan and authorize the first select woman to sign the same.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
Chair.
Yeah.
Just the length of the highway equipment leasing program, it's a lifespan, expected lifespan.
So what we did with the highway, it is actually 5 years.
It's a 5-year lease, but the trucks
These
will
are the
last.
trucks, right?
The truck, yep,
That's a,
They'll last.
3 dump trucks and 1 pickup truck.
right, but I'm sorry, Madam Chair,
Right.
that's what the
Yeah,
lifespan.
the life of the
And not,
truck.
it's not your,
Lifespan,
I remember the consultant said like 10,
Yeah. 7 and 10
your
years.
plan should be
Yeah.
about 10 years.
okay.
They could, obviously can go longer, but you should kind of plan for 10 years.
Mason dump is not a pickup, it's a bigger.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew if John was, I'm just curious of the length of.
Yeah,
Right.
ten-
We're not leasing and then 5 years
Right.
we're done, right?
No, 10 years.
Valid question.
That rate, that's incredible.
I know.
I get my car.
I know, same.
Ethics committee. Okay, all in favor? Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Discuss and take action to enter into a 4-year lease agreement for $208,000 and an interest rate of 1.4 with the First America and the financing of the 2022 capital program police vehicle replacement leasing and to authorize the first select woman to sign the same.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
discussion,
sounds good.
sounds good.
1.4%.
Yeah, we'll take it.
So John, if you want a Chevy Tahoe, maybe.
Thanks.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Discuss and take action to approve the application for 175 Fort Path Road, Milano Development and Ironworks, thank you, under the Town of Madison Tax Incentive Assessment Deferral Program pending town meeting approval. I need it moved.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion.
How long is, refresh my memory on how long does it get, do the taxes get?
Deferred.
I think it's not really, it's not really deferral, right? It's paid.
Reduce assessment.
Yep.
I have a few
It's
questions.
an abatement, yep. So,
It's really not a good word to use for it because they're not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's-
deferred.
yeah,
means-
right.
so, the first one, 175 Fort Path Road is a 5-year deferral.
Do you have,
Until they kick in 100%. They have 2 options. One option would be a 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 before they pay the full amount versus 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. So in the difference between the 2 is immaterial.
Okay.
So it's 0 for 5 years and then it phases in.
Correct.
Oh,
0 for 1 year.
Oh,
One
I'm
year,
sorry.
right, and
One
then it
year,
starts
And
to,
then phases
Phases
in
in over.
for 5 years.
So then when it's 40 across the board, then it goes to 100, like a 5-year cliff.
Yep,
Okay.
year 6 goes to 100%. And I do have an estimate for illustration purposes. If you guys want it, it's a 10-year estimate. So that's 175 Fourth Path. And then we have Bradley Road, which is the other one, which,
is that on here?
yep.
yeah,
Okay,
So there's 2, I know, I did the same thing, Jean. So it says 175 Fort Path Road,
oh, I see, okay.
Oh,
And
Ironworks,
Ironworks.
Ironworks,
Yeah.
correct, I read it.
and that actually qualifies for a 7-year basin, so to speak. It's, the ordinance says deferral, and that goes 0, 0, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 eventually, or 50% for the next 7 years. So they have the option to decide which option they want out of that tier. But again, it's
It's
immaterial.
immaterial. And this kind of helps get the businesses in here and we're kind of supporting more growth in the town.
Yeah, no, I mean, I benefit, I'm on the EDC, so I've heard these
Oh, okay.
presentations, and I think it's a great idea.
And
I may take the opposite position.
Go
just
ahead.
for discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know the parameters, you know, to give tax incentives for something that's creating jobs, I'm all for it. To give tax incentives to, is it a radius to your downtown, as you just mentioned downtown?
Correct.
I don't know any of the parameters of what we're doing there, and if you, here's my other question. And if you do this here, do you have to do it all over? Because to me, you give tax incentives for people to build houses and apartments, most developers can do it without too much difficulty. I don't blame the developer, the more they can, incentives they get, the more money they make. I get that. But, so my question is, if we do this, do we have to do it everywhere?
right, and this came from the selectmen, they had this discussion, correct? It's a recommendation, so I'm assuming, Peggy, are you there?
Yeah, so so we did talk to the town attorney about this, and I think that you know, in terms of the current applications, I think we were very supportive of moving these forward. But we did agree as a group that we're going to have a forward look about possible criteria that we might want to add to this. You know, when you get applications, this is a learning process. This is a new policy. And so we had quite a discussion at our Monday night meeting about that, about, you know, exposure risk. Is it better to offer more guidelines to developers so they understand what we're trying to incentivize and what we're not trying to incentivize? So the board, in cooperation with EDC, is going to be spending some time refining that. And, you know, because right now the criteria is really only a dollar amount, and that's the only thing in the policy. But ultimately, the board does have discretion, even, you know, so if we did get an application that we just didn't like the project for whatever reason, we could say no. So we do have the ability to do that. So for these 2 applications, these were actually, like, you know, have been in the system for a while. And because the town could not have a town meeting, it was hard for us to bring them forward for action. So we felt strongly that these both deserved, you know, to be moved through the process, and were supported by the board.
So, Peggy, I'm sorry, I just want to know, does this set a precedent? Did the town attorney say you can, just these 2 projects, you can go forward, and then going forward, you can revisit it, or will that somehow set a precedent? That's basically.
Yes, it always does, but technically our understanding is we still have the ability to say no. And it is a 3-step process. It's the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and town meeting. And so we can also revise the policy as well. So we can change the policy, you know, through just an affirmative vote of our board. And that's what we're planning on doing, just to make it a little bit, tighten it up a little bit, and kind of learn from what we learned through this application process to improve it and provide more guidance.
so, excuse me, you said you were going to change it to where you only need the approval of your board.
No, she's gonna write,
Oh,
they have to write the policy
okay, I see.
and approve the policy, but it still is a 3-step process
Yeah.
regardless of what the policy says. It will go Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, town meeting.
Right, correct.
I point Madam Chair to this, is there should be some criteria, some parameters they put in place, and whatever the town's trying to accomplish, I'm not exactly sure, it's bringing people to downtown, so it's gotta be a certain radius, so it's gotta create X number of jobs or permit, whatever it is, that's all. I mean, if you're telling me this is what we're revisiting, the criteria and parameters will be put in place, and this is just these two, well, I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, John, but I think, and as Peggy said, it's kind of you learn as you go, but I think the criteria in mind was just, because of the size, the minimum size threshold, the idea was to grow the grant list for projects that might not otherwise go forward.
Yeah.
But you're right, they might, no, yeah,
Right.
of course, yeah.
But as long, I totally agree. So you guys are looking at it, the board of selectmen will let us know what the criteria becomes further down the line.
Has the, just out of curiosity, has the new bank downtown, have they applied for one of these?
We have not received any applications as far as I'm aware, besides these two.
Good.
Peg, are you
Okay.
going to put any kind of a pause on applications until you've had a chance with the EDC to look at revising and adding the qualifications into the policy?
Well, the board felt it, at least Monday night, that was part of the discussion, and the board chose not to formally close the application process. But what we kind of agreed is that we control the timing of when we review applications. So, and it's really, we control how we move forward applications in the process. So if an application were submitted tomorrow, which could happen, our board decides when it would review and move it forward in the process. So we could still have time to, reflect on our criteria and set some parameters around our decision-making process.
Any other questions? Thanks, Becky. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Review of financials.
Any questions? I handed out the fund balance, the objections.
Yeah, thank you.
Bill Moore.
Sorry.
You know he's gonna ask you.
I
No, I just,
Any questions other than Bill?
I was just gonna make a comment.
That's gonna be a new policy. We're gonna write it down.
So moved.
All in favor?
Overruled.
So, looks like we have a pretty good fund balance, looking forward, and as I compared the numbers in the sheet with, what I could understand from it looks like we've been very conservative in some of these numbers, so in another month, when you've gotten all the bills in, et cetera, we'll probably see a little bit better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, okay, yeah, looking good, thank you.
Good. All right, liaison reports.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, I do have one.
Sorry.
The library met on Monday, and their preliminary books for the fiscal year just ended showed that they are in the black by about $25,000. And out of a $1.7 million total budget, that's pretty close, pretty well managed, I think. So at least they're in the black. Also, just for your interest, they are open at the full hours. They're fully open now, and open 3 nights a week, which is better than some of the other towns around us. Also, just as a matter of convenience for those of you who are in other agencies and so on, they're opening up that meeting room, for other board meetings and so forth. It'll be open for online registration come Monday.
We should try to do one of our meetings.
Yeah,
Oh, there.
good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Everybody have pencil, I wrote it
I wrote it down.
down.
So anyway, that's all I have.
Good, all right, so write that down, Stacy.
I will.
We'll take care of that. First select one. Peg?
Okay, I'll keep it quick. Number one is, I'm sure you're all familiar that we received 3 proposals on Island Avenue School. The board is, Selectmen is holding a public hearing on the 3 proposals on August 3rd. And then possibly that evening or shortly thereafter, we will pick one proposal and move it forward. And part of that would be sending it to Board of Finance and then Planning and Zoning Review. So in terms of a possibility of a special meeting in August, that might be on your radar. I'm not sure if the timing would require a special meeting. It might be able to wait till September, but I'll keep in touch with Jean on that. The second thing is American Rescue Plan funds. We are putting together a formal committee. I've spoken to Jean about that already. The board spoke about the charge and the composition. Board of Finance will be included in that. And we'll be coming back to you with finalizing that charge in August, what the committee would look like. And then the third thing is I just want to put on your radar as a possible use of the undesignated fund balance is this coastal resiliency reserve. I know Stacy has raised it a few times, and after some more work that we're putting together on possible project needs, you know, whether we use undesignated fund balance, ARP funds, there's going to be a lot of infrastructure projects that we're going to have to start preparing ourselves for coastal resiliency purposes. And so I think it would be worth the board considering using fund balance to set up that reserve. And there's a lot of benefits to that. So I'm going to work a little bit more with Stacy on that. And then we might come back to you and make a proposal to your board. Okay.
Great,
That's it.
good, thanks, Peg. Citizens' comments? Danielle, anybody?
As of right now, I don't see anybody raising their hands.
Okay, motion to
So
adjourn.
Is there anyone else?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, we're out.